Welcome to ETH Daily, a daily briefing on the latest in Ethereum. Here's your latest for Thursday, December 11th, 2025. FOCIL is declined for inclusion in Glamsterdam. Bail integrates 0xBAO's association set provider. Do Kwon is sentenced to 15 years in prison. And Coinbase integrates Chainlink CCIP for its wrapped assets. All this and more starts right after this message. This episode is sponsored by Archive, an Ethereum-aligned data layer for Web3. Archive merges guarantees of blockchain with the performance and flexibility of traditional databases. Find out more at archive.network/daily. During this week's All Core Devs call, Ethereum core developers declined the inclusion of fork choice enforced inclusion lists EIP 7805 for the upcoming Glamsterdam upgrade, which is scheduled for the first half of 2026. The Glamsterdam upgrade is instead slated to include EIP 7688, EIP 8061, and EIP 8080. Also called FOCIL for short, the proposal aims to enhance censorship resistance by allowing multiple validators to enforce the inclusion of valid transactions, reducing reliance on centralized block builders, and mitigating MEV. FOCIL will be considered for inclusion as a headliner feature for the subsequent upgrade, HECA. 0xBAO, the developers behind the Privacy Pools protocol, partnered with Veal.cash to significantly expand access to the Veal ZK privacy protocol on Base. Veal, which uses ZK snarks to provide privacy for users depositing ETH into fixed pools, was previously restricted to a small permission set of verified addresses. The new integration leverages 0xBAO's association set provider, Guardian product, which allows Veal to support deposits from a much wider range of unverified addresses. Both privacy protocols maintain OFAC compliance by screening all incoming deposits for links to illicit activity using Know Your Transaction checks. Do Kwon, the co-founder of Terraform Labs and the creator of the Terra Luna ecosystem, was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison by U.S. District Judge Paul A. Engelmayer in the Southern District of New York. The sentence follows Kwon's August 2025 guilty plea to conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, securities fraud, and wire fraud in connection with the May 2022 collapse of Terra Luna. Notably, the judge imposed a term well above the 12 years requested by prosecutors. Describing the $40 billion in lawsuits as eye-popping, the judge cited Kwon's infamous "deploying capital, steady lads" tweet, as well as more than 300 victim-impacted letters submitted to the court. And lastly, Coinbase integrated Chainlink's cross-chain interoperability protocol, CCIP, to power bridging for all Coinbase wrapped assets, including CBBTC and CBETH. Coinbase cited Chainlink's industry leadership, security, and reliability. Chainlink CCIP supports secure cross-chain messaging and enables improved capital efficiency across DeFi. Coinbase wrapped assets have an approximate aggregate market cap of $7 billion. In other news, the SEC issues a no-action letter to DTCC for tokenized stocks. Avid releases a forecast feature, and Sony plans to issue a USD peg stablecoin. This has been a roundup of today's top news stories in Ethereum. You can support this podcast by subscribing and following us at ETH Daily. Also subscribe to our newsletter at ethddaily.io.